You know, thinking about a lot lately, and one thing that I've come to know is that at this point in human civilization, our society has gotten to a point where those at in the highest places, the wealthiest, the most powerful, on some deeper level, it's like they're challenging God or the gods to prove they exist by destroying the planet and destroying the human race. And they don't realize it because the human ego is so powerful. It literally wants to dominate the will of all life. It wants to erase over all diversity and complexity in life and make it it. And I mean, it's done great things. It took us from wielding clubs and bonking animals in the head and dragging back to our cave to where we are now. But where do we proceed from here? Do we deserve to survive our technological adolescence? Do we deserve to live? And I think we do. I think people that make decisions that are destroying the planet, that are taking away freedom, that are dividing people, that are destroying animals and plants everywhere, those individuals are part of a system that has no control in it, in the right kind of control. And it's a fine line. You mean almost every utopia ever is a cult where the people at the top of those are performing unspeakable sexual acts and just, or any sort of successful utopia in distant past in the history has been vanquished, and some that are not even in the record books. They don't. There's no record of them because wicked men wanted to snuff them out. They wanted to destroy them and prove that they shouldn't exist, when really the deeper parts of themselves destroyed them nihilistically in fury of the fact that they didn't have that. They weren't teeming with unforced joy, with just peace and love. They didn't have to put on a game face just to get through the day. They didn't have to trick themselves and others. They could just be free. And I think that's what life is really about. It's an adventure. I mean, the wealthiest people and the people that have been at the top for really thousands of years don't want us to learn, don't want you to learn that you're a unique, sacred being. No matter how many people there are on this planet or in eternity, no matter how many similarities there may be between you and others, you're you. I mean, this body, mind, and soul that are sewn together, that this moment will one day, long years from now, be undone. You'll be vanquished for all time. I mean, there'll never be another you again. And no matter what's been done to you, or what you've done to others, to animals, to plants, to people, to phantoms in your mind, no matter what has been done and you've done, you can always change and grow and have hope and move in a positive direction. And you have to know that. You can't look at what cards you're dealt compared to other cards. That's what the wealthy and the most powerful people want you to think. They want you to contrast. Well, look what they have and look what I have. I'm shit. Or I have to make these choices. I have to betray myself. I have to be fake in order to have those things, because those are what matter. But what matters is to stay right here, present, and be just full of joy, unforced joy. We can't have it all the time. No society, no concoction of beings will ever be rosy and happy all the time. There's always going to be evil and darkness and injustice. But we can certainly change things drastically where those things are the minority. Human beings, since any of us can remember, have always talked about the balance. Some of the oldest religions, the Wicca, etc., shamanism, talk about the balance in the universe, and it makes sense. But I say this, there are hundreds of thousands of civilizations in the universe. Why not let ours be one that has more good than evil? It seems awfully selfish, but we have to find a balance some way, somehow in the universe. Why not do everything good we can possibly do and let the counter side of that figure itself out in some way, other way? The fact is human beings right now must make a choice. We either look at each other from any walk of life, whether you're a rapist, whether you're a clergyman, whether you're white, black, whether you've done 10 unspeakable bad things, or you have done nothing but good your whole life, or anything in between. We have to face the fact that the darkness in us, the evil in us, the bad choices we make, the horrible things we read about and see and that we know about, those are all individual choices made by individuals. There may be a slew of justifiable reasons that led up to that choice, but it was their freedom and to choose to do that. And we have to know that instead of throwing each other in categories. Human beings are not evil or good. Human beings are complex individuals. I mean, every being out there, even the most typical and stereotypical person, is like a gem. You know, and there's a gem with hundreds, if not thousands, of different facets. They're all different colors and sizes and lusters. Am I really going to look at a few of those facets, even ones that turn me off? Like, that's disgusting, it's ugly, it's cracked, I don't like it. But you know what? There's hundreds more on there that I can't see. I need to rotate this shit. I need to figure that out. Am I really going to judge it based on a couple that stand out and that I don't like? That concept is the most difficult thing for human beings to understand, that we're accidentally judging others all the time. And it stems mostly from our human ego. It wants to feel any way, do anything it can to justify its viewpoint and to feel superior to others. We have to fight it. Survival of the fittest is a concept that may exist in some natural form. It may exist in nature, and we may see it all around us. But nature can be brutal, unfair, horrible. You see babies fresh out of an egg or fresh out of a womb, minutes, hours later being killed, heads ripped off. That may be nature or natural, and human beings do not have to follow that. What we need to do is come together as brothers and sisters of this planet and take to the stars. We have to make this planet as whole and as green as possible, destroy as few animals and plants as we can. And we need to put all of our energy, all of our thoughts and hopes and dreams, our magic, our passion, everything into figuring out how to blast off this planet at incredible speeds and colonize other planets, set up atmosphere processors, whatever it takes to get a couple more planets in this galaxy going and figure out some of the secrets to the universe to branch out of this galaxy, or out of the solar system rather, and start to find some of these planets that seem habitable and start anew. Only then, long years from now, when we've successfully colonized multiple planets, and the first one is successful outside of the solar system, the beautiful majesty of the human being will start to blossom and start to come to fruition. Because there is a beauty and a majesty within us, not egotistical, not just all powerful where we can destroy, just that we're so full of love and hope and dreams. I want nothing else other than not only world peace but universal peace. A chance for every being that has a consciousness, as we call it, every being that knows what it means to be alive and to think, to have a chance at a beautiful life. I don't know exactly how animals and plants play into that, but I see no reason we should go to planets that have very little plants and animals and colonize those and take those and start to take nature from planet to planet and fill up the universe with it as well, even in its brutality where it kills one another and all the intricacies of species. Why not? Are we so? Was the universe created for us? I mean, do we believe that, Adam and Eve and all that, or any number of stories that say that we were just, these pasty white people that suddenly spawned and the earth went from there? No, that's a fantasy. But it's the same thing as any fantasy, which is to believe that something beautiful and majestic and even magical, but has happened and can happen, as long as it doesn't get mucked up with egotism and selfishness and really a misuse of, or a usurping of power. I think it's a good thing. And lastly, I'll say this. I don't know who I am, and I don't know how to really use the English language to describe what I feel or what I am, but I do know one thing, one secret, and that is that being human beings on some level, some energy system level that we can't, isn't tangible in any way to our five senses. Human beings have a connection, an energy, some sort of energy, I guess the best way to describe a connection to all life, even to beings outside this solar system. And there are beautiful and terrifying beings hundreds of thousands or millions of light years away. And they dream about us just like we dream about them. But throughout our lives, we essentially accumulate and give out energy. And when we go to die, if our energy is less than what we were born with, then it is siphoned through some sort of black hole and is recycled into the universe, and no attachment or afterlife or any record of your existence. You were a simple physical being that borrowed energy to be alive on this planet for a short time and was undone. But if you have more energy than what you're born with, it was usually a result of an attempt to live an honest, honorable, kind life and to put love out and hope and peace, then your energy moves on and it stays here. And I don't know exactly what happens to it. I don't know if I'll ever know. But I've decided that if this is not a secret and it's just a delusion, it's a good one. Because it helps me suppress, fight, and diminish the weakness and the darkness inside me. And it helps free me up to be loving and peaceful and to spread joy and love everywhere I go. Bring the best out of people and make them feel hopeful and loved and happy